Good evening, everyone. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. Thank you so much for joining me for this evening's bedtime chit-chat story time. All right, it is, we're pushing about 8 o'clock. It is, what day is it today? It's Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday. So pushing about the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to take a little bit of a shift. And instead of doing a Dave Ramsey upload, which I did earlier today, I'm actually going to do a second upload. Sometimes I have the time to do a second upload. It just kind of depends upon how the tide ebbs and flows. But one of the things I'm going to focus on this evening is a trending story dealing with young college graduates. Now, I don't know about you, but I do love to watch, I watch a lot of YouTube, obviously, but I really do like to keep an eye on stories that are trending, things that people are talking about. And this story, not really story, but this YouTuber is trending over the last week or so. She put up a story about a month ago. Her name is Bera Higgs, and you can see it here on the channel, Berahiggs. And she's a young college graduate, just recently graduated. And it's basically her experience with being a new graduate. I can't remember, but I want to say she has a drama degree. I know it's a liberal arts degree. Now, here's the thing. I've only watched a few minutes of this video. I actually first heard about it on the Millionaire Morning Show. And because I listened to that on my way to work. And I thought, wow, this is really interesting. So I only got to hear about 5 minutes or so of it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to look her up myself and check her story out. I've not heard the whole thing in detail, far from it. In fact, as you know, if you follow this channel, I really don't like to hear things before I listen to them. So like on the Dave Ramsey calls, I never, ever listen to those. Those are just simply as I hear it. But when it comes to news stories or things like this, I need to have a little bit more insight as to just what the story is about. Make sure I think it's relevant for my audience. And I think this one is rather relevant, especially as we talk about student loan debt, as we talk about, how to stay out of debt and stuff like that. I've only heard bits and pieces, like I said, of this, but we're going to go ahead and listen to part of it. I can't guarantee I'm going to listen to the whole thing. I cut out most of the intro, but as far as the meat of what she has to say, I've not heard most of that, but this sounds interesting. So we're going to go ahead and listen. Any criticisms that I make, I don't like to think of it as criticisms. It's more of critiques. And just to give you my perspective, all right, if you're new to this channel, I am 56 and I have a double master's, one in corporate management, and one in English education. I have a bachelor's degree in journalism. Yes, that liberal arts degree. That was actually very, very handy for me in the 80s, 1985, when I graduated from the University of Oregon. But fast forward to now, things are a whole lot different. The liberal arts degree is viewed a whole lot differently. So we're going to go ahead, take this on down. I'm going to leave out the usual bells and whistles that I do with the Ramsey show. That's tea time and all that stuff. That's really just for the Dave Ramsey show, which I love doing that. I'll have her link in the description box down below. So she says, I got my bachelor's degree, then reality set in. I did speed this up to 1.25. I've put on subtitles because sometimes when you speed it up a little bit, it can make it harder to understand. I was going to do it at 1.5 and I was like, no way. I can't follow that. And I think it's too hard for my audience, especially if people are focusing on other things while they're listening to this. So I'm not sure how far we'll get into this. Like I said, it's about almost 8 o'clock. I don't like to really be at the computer deck beyond 8:30. So we'll just go ahead and give this a shot. I really appreciate you guys joining me here. I hope you like these videos. I'm trying to intersperse trending videos if I think the video is relevant and nothing else, just interesting. So here is Bera Higgs. Let's kind of hear what she has to say. Like I said, I haven't heard much of this.
After I graduated college, which I graduated in December, major in theater, minor in multimedia and film. Woohoo.
Okay, for those who may not be looking at the screen, because not everybody does, she graduated December 2023 with a major in theater. With a major in theater and a minor in multimedia film. All right. And of course, you can watch this without my commentary. First off, again, I'm coming from a 56-year-old perspective and my life experience, okay? Who's going to hire you right now? I think the liberal arts degree today, unlike when I graduated in the 80s. In the 80s, if you had a liberal arts degree, I mean, even though I know we kind of slam them today, and don't get me wrong, there's value in liberal arts. There's value in creativity. We need music, we need dance, we need art, we need theater, we need these things. But I think, unfortunately, with a lot of the liberal arts degrees today, maybe more so than in yesteryears, okay, like decades ago, I think they tend to be more of hobby degrees today. I think they tend to be, I don't, again, I don't want to over criticize, but I think we need to be kind of blunt to some extent, and that is they're looked at today like hobby degrees. Hey, I have a photography degree. Okay, that's a hobby. Hey, I have a major in theater, multimedia, minor in film. The first question becomes, who's going to hire you? Okay, you have a major in theater. Fine. You have a major in theater. Now, who's going to hire you? For them to hire you, they're going to need you to perform. Where are you going to perform at? And one of the things I think to think about in today's economy, unfortunately, with rent so high and everything else, but we have to ask ourselves, who's buying tickets to this stuff? Okay, so you major in theater, you're going to do stage plays, probably at the beginning, perhaps. Okay, who's got the money to go? People are struggling. And again, this is not to criticize what she majored in as far as its value. Yes, theater, drama, music all have value. But if you're looking for a career, if you're looking for a job that's going to help you, pay the bills long term and put you into a career, is this a hobby? In today's market, we can't get an education based on, what it was like, 25, 30 years ago. What it was like 30 years ago when I graduated. Okay? Or actually, oh, Jesus, 37 years ago. All right? Pushing 40 years ago. Oh, my Lord. Okay? So we can't look at it like that. But in today's market, with people struggling to, just the grocery bills and the rent, who's got money for movie tickets? People aren't even buying movie tickets. I've been to 2 movies since COVID's been out. I think I've been to the theater twice, maybe twice. I know for sure once after COVID was done. I think maybe twice. That's it. Now that's a $13 movie ticket. Now who's paying to see theater? And we can't say, well, there's a theater production, on Saturdays at the local theater house. That's a hobby. You're majoring in these as careers. And you have to remember, family, the school is not going to tell you that it's a hobby. Okay. And it's not the school's job to tell you, in all honesty, that's a hobby. It's really not. Sometimes, you'll hear students, I've heard students on videos say things like, why didn't the school tell me? It's really not their job to tell you. You say, I want to major in theater and dance. Great. Here you go. Here's a degree. Now who's going to hire you?
And since I have graduated, granted, I don't miss college. Let me just say that. I'm glad I don't have professors emailing me, asking me for essays, due dates, to do this and that.
Oh, we all relate to that, Barra. We all relate. We understand, honey.
I'm glad I'm done with school. Okay, I feel great. I feel like a weight is lifted off my shoulder. And I was also president of a club, and I was doing a lot of stuff in theater. You got little to no rest with my...
I'd like to know I'd like to know if she has student loans. Like I said, I've only heard maybe the first couple minutes of this.
Major. So being able to let some of that go, I feel quite wonderful. I feel pretty good. So yeah. I would say...
For those who can't see the screen, she brought up a screen that says post-grad depression. So post-graduation depression.
Post-grad depression, for people that do talk about post-grad depression, I wouldn't say it comes from college. Being out of college didn't really make me sad or anything. I would say it's how the world treats you after you graduate.
Now, before she goes on, this is the part that I have not heard. So this is going to be new to you as it is to me. But I will say just that sentence, how the world treats you after you graduate. If you think about those of us that are in our 50s, 60s, okay, we were raised in a society where you had to have patience. Okay, you ordered something in the mail, it could be up to a month for something to be delivered. Okay, you wanted to go to the bank, well, you're going to have to wait till the next morning because the bank's closed, for the next 2 days. You want to go to the grocery store? Well, you're lucky, if you have a 7-Eleven around the corner, because that's all there is. The young people today, and I know they're criticized a lot for it, and I don't think they should be criticized as much as they are, because we have to remember this is all they know. All they know is that I can go to my cell phone, go to Amazon, and I can order something. If it's $25 and above, I can have it delivered to me between 3 and 8 p.m. Okay, this is all they know. All they know is speed. That's what they know. Speed of delivery, speed of service. Okay, anything they need, bing, bing. All right. And so I know they get slammed a lot for that, and people are thinking, man, these guys want everything right now. But we forget this is how they were raised. They don't relate to anything else. And it's up to the adults in the room, okay, to teach them about patience, to teach them about the patience of a job hunt, the patience of having to get through 4 years of school, the patience of having to save money. That's up to the adults in the room to teach them. So it'll be interesting to see what she says here about how the world treats you after you graduate. Because I know a lot of young people, all right, so I think it's the millennials. Millennials, I think, are in like the 30s. I think this is like Generation Z or something, okay? I'll just say young people. I'm talking about the early 20s, okay? I want to say it's Gen Z. But I know a lot of people think that the Gen Z, think that when they graduate, they should be given a 2-car garage, house, a nice car, a job that is absolutely secure from layoff or all financial volatility, and the money should come rolling in, and then they can stick it on, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever, TikTok.
That's what's really doing something to me. So let's break it down. I'm trying not to ramble here, so I got my little phone. Hold on. Got my little phone with my notepad so I can know what to talk about and hopefully not talk too much on this video.
Don't worry about talking too much, Barry. You're on the right channel here with me.
Cool. And it's hot out here. So let's talk about me getting close to my graduation. So I graduated in December. I was excited. I was happy. Graduation day, I was overwhelmed because there's a lot of people. I socialize with a lot of people, but when everyone is trying to crowd you and ask you questions and people want to take pictures with you, oh, KB, let's take a picture. Where's your apartment at? Like, it was so much happening that I was just like, but it was cool. It was fun. So had my graduation and then started my first full-time job, which I was working at a novelty store, a little adult entertainment store. I thought it would be fun.
Whoa. She graduates from college in December 2023. All right. She's working at an adult novelty store. Okay. The adult store. I hope she talks about her student loans. I'd like to know if she has student loans. Could you imagine busting your ass for 4 years to get a college degree in drama, minor in theater, dance, yada, yada, and you're working at an adult novelty store? I mean, it's kind of bad enough that you majored in a hobby, because she did. Let's just be honest, okay? She majored in a hobby. This isn't going to be a career, all right? You majored in a hobby. You've spent all that money, and now you're working at the adult novelty store. You could have done that straight out of high school once you turned 18. I'm sure she's heard this. She had to have heard. She's had to have heard this. So she's working at the adult store counter. Okay.
I got a crazy list of jobs that I want to do because I think they're fun.
But you've just gone to school for 4 years, I'm assuming, to try to get a degree. If you just want a crazy list of jobs to do because they're fun, you did not need to go to college to get that. You could have done that right out of high school. Adult novelty store at one end, Publix at another, Target at another, whatever.
But anyway, I was working at my first full-time job after graduation because, of course, you got to pay bills, you got to pay rent and all that other stuff.
Yes.
And really working at Sunset was my first, I want to say, it wasn't a 9 to 5, it was longer than a 9 to 5. But it showed me quickly the work-life balance.
Sunset must be the adult novelty store.
We all trying to make money out here. You got to make money, because how can you pay bills? How can you go out? I mean, like, everything is costing money. And now they're talking about this self-checkout at Walmart costing money. Like, it seems every little thing has a cost to it.
Welcome to the world of adulthood, Bera. I hope your name is Bera, not Bera. Bera, I'm assuming it's Bera. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Yes, Bera. Everything costs money. When you were in school and your parents paid for that cell phone, the cell phone cost money. The cell phone screen cover costs money. The cell phone service costs money. The upgrades cost money. Yeah, it's a real eye opener. It's a real eye opener. And also to give you my perspective, family, so you understand where I'm coming from. My mom had us working in the bean fields in Oregon at 14 years old. That's how we got our Social Security card. She wanted us to start experiencing work. And don't, no, it wasn't like she was, cracking the whip and making us go. Well, she made us go the first summer. Okay. It's like everybody, when you turn 14, you got to go spend one summer picking beans and strawberries in Oregon. And she did it because she wanted us to see what life could be like if we weren't, if we didn't take in control of our education, we didn't value the things that we have. And that's also kind of part of the perspective that I'm coming from. And I'll tell you, it shaped me, and it shaped me fast because I got to see, migrant families struggling. I think that's what they are. Migrants, they move from place to place. I got to work alongside migrant families in Oregon. And I remember going to my home to my mom sometimes and going, I can't believe the way the mother talked to the son. She was mad because he didn't pick enough strawberries and the family was short on money. That was my first realization that, damn, I had it good. And then after we did it for one summer, I mean, we were up at 5 a.m., out in the bean fields at 7 o'clock, done by 2 in the afternoon. And she said, you don't have to do it again. But we asked to do it again the next summer because she said anything we made, we could keep it towards new school clothes that we wanted. And of course, I wanted my designer Brooke Shields, Calvin Klein jeans. And that's how I bought them. But that's the perspective I'm coming from. So when somebody her age, Bara's age, early 20s is sitting saying everything has a cost to it. I was raised understanding that at a young age. But I think that some people really aren't raised with understanding that. They don't see that it has a cost to it. Mom and dad have paid for it, or credit cards, or student loans.
I don't like that shit. But anyway, I'm working there. And I was working there under, I want to say, poor management. My manager was awesome. She was amazing. But higher up above her, we had some not so nice people. And dealt with a lot of misogyny. Had to deal with kissing ass, basically, to make money. Because it's like, I need this job. I need this job. Because I got bills to pay.
And welcome to the world of work. Welcome, Barrett, to the world of work. You are seeing what the workplace can be like if it's toxic. And most of us, at some point in our career, we're going to work in a toxic environment. It's not if we're going to work in one. It's going to be when, where, and for how long. And in general, just speaking in general terms, the more professional the career you're in, okay, we're talking in general terms, the less toxicity you're going to deal with. Again, I'm talking in general terms. All right. I'm really fortunate. I had my toxic workplace was working in insurance. Never again. It was so toxic. They were firing people right and left. I kid you not. That's all I'm going to say about that. They were firing people right and left. I did not get fired. But it was that toxic that finally corporate came down and said, that's enough. And they just literally started letting heads roll because it was that toxic and they needed to clean it up. Where I am now, hell, I've been at the same school now 18 years. Trust me, I wouldn't be there if it was toxic. There would be no need to be there. So, Barrett, you are getting a taste, just a taste of the real working world and why it's important that you major not in a hobby, but you major in a career that people will pay you to be at, because not only will it help decrease the toxic level of work because you tend to work with more professional people. Again, this is not guaranteed. All right, let's get that clear, okay? But in general, not only will you be around more professional people, but young lady, you will have the ability to leave that toxic place if it doesn't fit your mental health. And sometimes I'm going to admit, folks, sometimes I think the young folks get a little bit too, oh, gee, they're not catering totally to my mental health. Okay, it's not really your employer's job to cater to your mental health. It's your job to cater to it for the most part. Okay, they can give you resources and all that, but they're paying you to do a job, and it is up to you as the employee to take care of yourself in whatever needs, what in the best way that meets your needs so that you can go to work and function. And I'm speaking from a person who's dealt with mental health issues.
My friends would be trying to go out like some weekends, and it was a whole lot of like, no, y'all, I can't make it. I got work. It was a whole lot of no's. Like,
and again, welcome to the world of work. Yes. Now you understand perhaps when you were growing up and you wanted your parents to take you out and they couldn't because they were too tired or they were working. And now you understand why parents at times have to say no or they have to put limits on it. It's not because they necessarily want to do it. It's that they have to do it. And again, I'm a bit surprised hearing this, that she's this surprised, that this just seems to be a surprise to her. But, you know, folks, there are young people out there that never really take a job. They don't take a job during high school. They don't take a job during college. You know, I really feel sorry for young people who have not had a lot of exposure to the work world until they actually graduate from college. Like, I couldn't imagine graduating from college and this would be my very first job is right out of college. I could not imagine that because I think it doubles the shock, you know, whereas when you're raised with, like I was, you know, like I was saying earlier, you know, 14 years old into, you know, I was picking beans and strawberries, back-breaking work, realized how hard it was. Okay. And then I, you know, worked at Wendy's, McDonald's. I built over the years. So by the time I graduated from college, I mean, yeah, by the time I graduated from college, I had already done multiple fast food jobs, field jobs, yada, yada. It wasn't a shock. She seems like this is a real surprise.
I think I got some screenshots. It was crazy. And all the time they'd be like, dang, you know, that job is working you to death. And I was like, I know.
We don't know what working you to death is. When I was in my 20s, before I had my first bankruptcy, out of the two that I had, the second one being in my 30s, my first job, when I was in my early 20s, just before I filed bankruptcy, I was working from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at a full-time secretary. I should say not secretary. I was like an administrative assistant office job. And then so I'd get off work 8 to 5, and then I would run home, quick hour nap or so, barely time for dinner. And then I would be at my next job from 8 p.m. to midnight. I did that 5 days a week. On Saturdays, it was a call center job, 8 to midnight. On Saturdays, I would work just the call center job all day. On Sundays, I may or may not have off. Okay. And when they sit there, and again, I understand her perspective. She's young. When she says they're working you to death, honey, you ain't even been in the workforce. What? You just graduated. You hadn't even been in the workforce a year yet. You have no idea what working to death is. You have no idea. It's just starting. Talk to parents who hold 2 full-time jobs trying to keep the roof, you know, covered over their kids' heads. You know, I mean, it's funny when I hear someone say, oh, they're just working me to death. You just graduate in December and what's the date? It's May 1st. All right. You have no idea what working to death is. I respect that you feel that way. And I do. I respect that she feels like that, but the train hasn't even left the station yet for you to get an idea. And again, we don't know about student loans. Maybe she was lucky and is able to go on scholarship, but methinks no, because the fact that she's working at this adult novelty store, which kind of tells me she needed a job and quickly.
I literally was working almost every day. I would only get like 1 day off.
And that's a blessing. Getting 1 day off. You get people who get no days off. You get people who are struggling so much that if they take a day off, you know, they don't make money that day. There are no days off for some people. I mean, literally no days off. And we're not talking about people who choose to be self-employed. Okay. But we're talking W-2 employees working for other people. There are people who get no days off. So she's like, just waking up to discovering that this is what people have to do. Yes, honey, this is what people have to do. And honey, you're going to have to do it, and you may have to do it for a very long time, depending upon your financial needs, situation, and spending habits.
A week, sometimes 2, but for the most part, I was only getting 1 day off.
That's normal. That's normal for young people. Do they really need 2 days off? Let's play devil's advocate here. You're young. Okay? You've majored in a hobby. Now what are you going to do for a career? What are you going to do for a job? One of the best pieces of advice my dad, who's now in his 80s, ever gave me was when I was in my late 20s, very early 30s, trying to find myself. Okay. And he said to me, Carrie, you need to stop chasing jobs and you need to go after a career. And he told me that. He said, you need to stop chasing jobs. You need to go after a career. She's chasing jobs. And I think the issue that people have with a lot of these liberal arts degrees is these are hobbies and they still have you just chasing jobs. Now you're just chasing these various jobs with an expensive degree behind you.
And I wasn't even working like technically full time for real, but that's a whole nother story. That job scammed me. But anyway, I was put in.
Okay, that job scammed you. I'll take her word that maybe it was dishonest.
In a lot of time only to be let go last month. So
yes, that happens. And it happens to adults who up and move their entire career to go to another state because the company said, oh yes, we will hire you, so they leave the job they have, they go to work for another company, they move and everything else. And then, months later, the company says, well, we don't need you anymore. I understand she's young. This sounds like a surprise. It's not a surprise to those of us that have more experience. And with the springtime graduation season upon us, okay, this is something that college grads need to hear. They need to understand. It's not pretty. Entering the world of adulthood is not pretty. I'm going to be really honest. It's not pretty. It's like enjoy that childhood if you have a decent one while you can.
They told me basically I was fired March 14th. And I was just like, okay, what do I do now? And don't get me wrong.
You go back to that liberal arts degree you have and realize it was a hobby and go, damn, I should have majored in STEM.
My plan after I graduated was never to stay in Statesboro where I am now. My plan was never to stay here because I know there's not a lot of opportunities for me. So I did start looking into some theater internships, fellowships, full-time jobs if they offered it. I was looking into that, but most of them didn't start until June to August, or they don't start until May. So I still had a little bit of time, and again, I got to pay bills. So
internships and fellowships. When I hear that, I think no money, working for free, working for a rock bottom minimum wage. I could make more at McDonald's. What I would ask is, where's the actual paying career in what you majored in? And as people, graduate, we have two roads going at the same time. We have people who are done with college. They're now entering the workforce, and we have lots of Bira Higgs. We have lots of Bira Higgs. Their eyes are opening up and they're going, oh my God, I didn't realize the real world was like this. And then we've got those graduating from high school who are getting ready to enter college, and they're still in that dream la land state. This is where everybody converges, right? Where two roads meet. Is that Robert Frost?
I needed a job during this time. So anyway, they let me go last month, and I was just like I honestly, and still don't know how to cope with that.
Yeah, getting let go from your first job is never easy. It never is. I remember I was let go from Kinko's on the Oregon campus, University of Oregon. I was a senior. Yeah, they let me go. They said I talked too much. Hey, I can laugh about that, family. They actually did. They said, Carrie, now you got to keep in mind, I'm 20 years old. I'm a senior. I know all my friends are on campus. Oh, college days were the best, okay? And my friends used to come into Kinko's, okay, which was a Xerox copy place, okay? It's a copy place. I mean, my friends all came in and we had a lot to chat about. You're talking about a 20-year-old, okay? How serious do you think she takes the world? Not too seriously. And it was like, Carrie, we need to help the customers. I am helping the customers. I know this person, that person there's my best friend. So they were finally said, Carrie, you chat too much for the job. Yeah, I know. It also didn't help any that a lady came in. I'll never forget. It was the day that they fired me. Actually, they fired me the day after. She apparently ordered she wanted 3 copies of kid you not, okay, 200-page dissertation. That's the PhD stuff, all right? Which is not uncommon for a couple 100-page dissertation. She wanted 3 copies of a 200-page dissertation. I actually wrote down that she wanted 300 copies of the 200-page dissertation. I mean, this sucker was packed in boxes. And because it was her legal work, it was her dissertation, anybody knows the PhD, that is her legal research. They had to give her all 300 copies, 300 copies, yes. They had to give her all 300 copies for free. Yeah. Because she's like, you can't keep those. And the store was like, well, we can go ahead and burn them. And she goes, no. She goes, that's my original work. And the mistake was on your employee. Of course, they all look at me. All right. Yeah. Well, so that was the other reason I was let go. Not sure which one was the greater, but anyways. And here I am today.
Anyway, I'm trying not to cry, y'all. But
no, getting let go from a job is difficult. It's not easy for anybody. And you're doing it unmarried, no kids, okay? Probably no property right now. You might be renting, might have roommates, stuff like that, right? So the stress barrel only goes up the older you get, the more responsibilities you have. But we've all been there. We respect that, right, family?
yeah, that was tough. And still is tough, because I'm going to get into that. Because I was like, God, come on now, like you know we had a plan here. The plan is kind of falling short right now, what's happening. But honestly, I had been saying that I wanted to leave that job because it was not good for my mental health. Every day I was going in stressing, or I was leaving unhappy. And I was like, I can't do this, like I gotta leave.
Okay. And well, we all respect that. God knows I certainly do. Okay. And I know family members out there, you respect it too. There's something she's going to have to learn. She's going to have to learn coping strategies. Because guess what? Every job at some point is going to affect your mental health. Every job. There isn't a job alive, even for the self-employed. Matter of fact, the self-employed can have it the worst. Okay. They literally, it's all on their shoulders. Okay. But it doesn't matter. Self-employed, W-2, 1099, whatever. Every job at some point has stress that you've got to learn how to manage. And I think that some of the Gen Z folks, I think it's the Gen Z, because it's millennials and then Gen Z, okay? But I think some of the young folks don't have coping strategies. They haven't been given coping strategies. And I don't like to talk politics on this channel, because this is not a political channel, okay? But for all purposes, the woke left liberal media. I'm an Oregonian, okay? So yeah, I admit it, I'm a Democrat, but I'm a moderate Democrat, okay? Not far left, all right? So there you have it. But sometimes I think there's a little too much of, the job must always make you feel like you're at one with yourself and at zen. And if you don't feel like this job is fulfilling all those mental health needs, then the job must suck. No. There are just certain stresses that come with the job. You've got to learn to deal with the different personalities. You have to learn to deal with different bosses. Some jobs you have multiple bosses. Okay. All right. So she's going to have to learn, Miss Barrett. You're going to have to learn how to deal with that. Otherwise, every job you're going to quit at some point saying, this is just hard on my mental stress. Guess what? Dance, theater, hard on your mental stress. Wait till you do it and the audience says you suck and they don't like the reviews. Now what are you going to do? Every job has mental stress. And I think some of the young folks need to be taught coping strategies on how to deal with it. Because I don't feel like most of it I think kind of learned through the school of hard knocks. I know I did. I learned it through the school of hard knocks. Okay. But it's just something that she's got to figure out how to work around. Otherwise, you're going to quit every job. It wouldn't matter what the job was.
Soon. And I guess God pressed fast forward on that process, because he didn't even give me the option to keep working there. He was just like, I'm going to push you out. So I left there, and then I was trying to file for unemployment, and nothing passing by. Anyway. So yeah, after I lost that job, I've been filing for unemployment and food stamps. And the government, when it comes to like assistance, is so ass too. Because as I was filing for unemployment, I'm filling out all my information, and Then they get back to me and they're like, oh, you didn't earn enough wages to qualify for unemployment.
Congratulations. Welcome to the world of adulthood. And you aren't a single mom or even a dad with kids. So you probably don't qualify for food stamps. I did take food stamps very briefly as a college student. You know, that free milk and cheese that they give you, that free brick cheddar cheese and bag of rice or whatever it is that they give you now. All I remember is the brick of cheddar cheese. We loved it, okay? Who told her that, and again, she just graduated in December, folks, so we're on May 1st, so she's been out of school for 5 months. Who told her, if anybody did, that she could go on unemployment really easy and collect food stamps really easy right out of college with no work hours or experience really underneath her? I mean, if somebody did not tell her differently, then she was given a disservice. Okay? Who's telling these people that, hey, you know what, go to school, major in a hobby. All right, major in a hobby. Go work at an adult bookstore, wherever it's at, okay? I don't care, okay? And when that job doesn't work out and you go do another job, that one doesn't work out, you can just you'll get all the money you need for food stamps and unemployment. Young people, that doesn't happen that way. It does not happen that way. You have to pay enough into unemployment to even get it. And then also you hold on. Is that my Alexa? Hold on. Everybody just pause a second. Hold on. My Alexa just went crazy and started playing music. So anyways, no, but whoever is telling young people, if young people are getting the idea that, you know, you've got a free ticket to, you know, what is it? Free ticket to food stamps and unemployment. If that first job out of college doesn't work out and you've only been out of college a couple months, no, absolutely not true.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
My SNAP's application too, and I haven't heard back.
That insert was by her. I'm not doing any inserts on this, just so you know.
From them, they normally don't get back to you until like months later. So I'm like, how can y'all really say that y'all giving assistance and y'all want to help the homeless and all of that? And it's hard to get any help.
You have discovered what people have complained about for years. You begin to realize, honey, you're on your own. Okay, if you've got parents to assist you, great, but really you're on your own, and you have to learn to make it on your own. Even if you have parents to assist you, they can't assist you forever. That can wind up handicapping you. Could wind up putting, you know, figuratively speaking, you know, handcuffs on you because you can't make it on your own. Yeah. Again, she's probably been led to believe that, you know, all this assistance is there because in some ways, like I said, you know, depending upon the way you lean politically, it can make it seem like there's all this free stuff to help you. We're just going to give it to you. No, it doesn't actually work that way. But if you follow social media, certain groups, it sure is cut out to seem that way. And I remember, you know, when I applied for food stamps, I think I got $25 a month. That was in college. It was, of course, I understand this was, you know, 30 years ago and whatnot, but still, it was nothing. It was absolutely nothing. So she's just realizing this. She's realizing all of this.
For real. You got to bend over backwards to get any help. I see.
Yeah, you have to do it yourself. That's what you have to do. You have. I hate to use the phrase "pull yourself up by the bootstraps" because I get sick of hearing that. Okay, but what you have to do is you start to realize you have to build your own resources, and you have to have stick-to-itiveness. You cannot quit every job because you feel like it's affecting your mental health. Now, there are jobs that truly, I mean, affect your mental health, but I'm sorry, 5 months out of college graduation, and you're trying to tell me the job you're in is just affecting your mental health so badly. You're barely 20 weeks out of college, okay?
See. So, don't have unemployment. I'm not getting money from that. Don't have food stamps, so any little money I get, I'm having to pay for like groceries and bills.
Yes, that's how it works, honey. That is how it works. Welcome to adulthood, sweetie.
Still, with no job.
Yes. And this is what leads people to work multiple jobs, to take any job. The pretty 9 to 5 hours that people want. All right. That doesn't happen for, well, millions of people. It doesn't happen.
So let that sink in. Let that sink in.
Oh, we older people understand, Bear. We want you to let it sink in. We get it. We've known it. I knew it before I was graduating from college. Somehow or another, I'm thinking she's led somewhat of a sheltered life. This is just my thought, is that she's led somewhat of a sheltered life, because these are things, even if I take, the generational differences and all that, I kind of knew this stuff in my early 20s. Of course, who the heck am I to talk? I mean, I went bankrupt at 24, so apparently there was some stuff I did not know. But putting credit cards aside, as far as the work, the type of people you were going to work with, the diversity and personalities that you were going to work with, the hours that you might be expected to work. Like I said, my perspective, my mom had us in a bean field at 14 years old, because that was the legal age in Oregon. I'm sure it still is. She had us apply for our Social Security card. She taught us work. She taught it to us. Did no one teach this girl work before she graduated from college? Did no one teach that to her? It's just a thought. Or maybe it was taught to her, but she just didn't believe it. It's like sometimes students will go, oh no, my teachers never taught me that in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade. And then I get to 8th grade and go, did they not ever teach it to you? No, they didn't teach it to us. And then when they get to 9th grade, be like, didn't your 8th grade teacher teach you that? No, she didn't teach it to us. So maybe it was introduced to her, but she just didn't let it sink in. She doesn't need to tell us older folks to let it sink in. She needs to tell herself to let it sink in. We already know.
So then a girl was filing for jobs because I was like, okay, you still got to be in Statesboro for a couple of months. I got until June, and we need to make money. So I started applying for jobs here and then cities close to me. I barely have heard back from them for real. So yeah, I see the job market is pretty ass. I see now what everyone is talking about with like it's hard to get a job. And even after me graduating, even after me getting a degree, most of the jobs that I'm actually interested with, like box office stuff and front of house management and director work, most of those jobs now, okay, they want you to have a degree, but do you have 4 to 5 years of experience?
This is let me finish.
Have you used this software? And the software is kind of like very private. Only the companies have the software, and there is no guide on it. There is no training classes on this software.
This is the classic catch-22. How do you get, they want you to have experience, but how do you get your job without the experience? You can't get the job without experience, but no one will hire you so you can get the experience, yada, yada. Okay. Again, I feel like she's somewhat sheltered. Her experience, as far as, they just don't get back to you. People, we've been living that since the dawn of time, probably the dawn of the dinosaurs. Okay. Yeah. People, they don't get back to you. And some jobs are ghost jobs. Ghost jobs being, they only put the job out there because they have to legally post the job, but they already know who they want to hire. Or they post the job because they simply want to keep an applicant pool. Okay? This has been around since the dawn of time. There's something else, and this is just an observation of a 56-year-old, okay? She needs to clean up her appearance. There is something that I believe strongly, and that is whatever you're not willing to do, somebody else is willing to do that wants the job more than you. Okay? I tell that to my students. I'll go, when you go to apply for a job, okay, because they're in 8th grade, and some of them are so excited because they're applying at their first Publix job, and I share that excitement with them, okay? But I always tell them, look at the way you dress, look at your mannerisms, watch the way you talk. Okay. Because if you're not willing to watch over those things, somebody else will, and they'll be the one to get the job. Now, I believe in cultural diversity. Clearly, I'm Vietnamese black. My parents are white. I was born in Saigon, Vietnam. All right. During the war in 1967. So I'm the last person anyone needs to talk to about diversity. Okay. Here's the thing. And I have a very international family. Here's the thing. I understand she's majored in drama, But I'm going to be honest. My first observation, just rock bottom observation, I hope she doesn't look like this going to interviews. I hope this isn't the presentation that she gives. Now, I understand, she's making a casual YouTube video. You've all seen me, sometimes my bangs are done, sometimes they're not done, whatever, okay? But when we talk about, there's, getting people to respond to you, all right? It's not just what's on your resume. It's going to be what they see, because everything that's on your resume can be wiped out in 2 seconds when they look at you. Honestly, I would tell this young lady, clean up your appearance so you look professional. Now, I understand that there are certain fields, art, drama, music, go hard, go home, okay? And people, can diversify their look a bit. But here's the thing. She has not yet established herself, okay, in a career. She's unheard of. She has not yet made her mark in the industry that she has majored in. I was always raised with hair issues growing up. Okay. Like I said, my parents are white and they didn't know what to do with my hair. I didn't know what to do with my hair. I'll tell you, let you on a secret. I didn't know how to style my hair till I was 30 years old. I don't want to get into all that because that's a long story in itself. But it's just basically, I didn't know how to do it. I had to be taught. I had to do it by trial and error. It was really what it was, trial and error. I had never touched a curling iron till I was like 22 in college. I'd never handled a curling iron. I had never, I just didn't know what to do with my hair. I do now, okay? And I'm a pro at it now. But if she's talking about, trying to get employers to respond to her and stuff, especially with some interviews now being done on social media, okay? A lot of employers look you up, okay? They look you up. They can certainly look me up. A lot of employers might want to do an interview by Zoom, whatnot, okay? I would tell her to clean up her appearance, all right? The hair looks really dry. All right, like it needs a really good moisturizer. The ends look like they need to be trimmed. The patch of blonde, I guess, is it kind of blonde? I can't tell if that patch was there intentionally, if it was part of an old growth, grow out, whatever. I would change the glasses to something much more professional looking. We are supposed to be a young lady with a college degree. We need to have that professional look. I would get out of the plastic glasses. I would probably change to something more wire, perhaps, that looks a little bit more adultish. And I have friends who have nose rings. Okay. I do. I have friends, God bless them, they have nose rings. I would cut out the nose rings for the interview of job to look professional. To have a professional look, and you're unestablished. All right. Again, like I said, I have surrogate family members with nose rings. Okay. But they're also very dainty. I mean, they're just that you can almost ignore them just because they're so dainty. But the difference also is they've established their careers. This is the difference. They've established their careers. They've proven themselves. This is just their little thing that they like to do. All right. But again, they're established. They are fully established. I think going out with this appearance, well, there's nothing wrong with it on a Saturday afternoon. I'm hoping this isn't what she's displaying when she actually goes out to look for a job. Because I don't care if it's drama, theater, or whatnot. Okay? It's called your best foot forward. I see remnants of high school in the appearance still. And we got to get out of that remnant of high school. And we need to get into something that looks more professional. And I mean, her hair looks like it could be really beautiful if it needs to be maintained. Needs to have a more professional appearance. Now, that in my world doesn't mean it has to be straight. Okay, it doesn't have to be straight. Some of the most gorgeous hair is curly, full and bouncy. Okay, volume. All right. So, but when you're young and you are trying to establish yourself, I see too much. We're still in the high school mode. We need to get out of the high school mode and make her look like a young lady ready to tackle the world in a professional view. Get rid of the nose rings. Get rid of it. Okay. Save it for the weekends when you're home with your family or friends who don't care. All right. And even though this obviously, she's just sitting and having a casual conversation about it. Okay. Okay. And it's understandable. Again, I'm just giving you my view of it. All right. You don't know who's going to see it. And it's important that when they see that, they go, okay, do I want this in my place, in my company? As a teacher, and I've been a teacher for 18 years, if I were to show up with a tiny little nose ring right there, and I have family members who have one, probably nobody would blink an eye. Okay. I showed up with a little nose ring right there. You might be, okay, whatever. But I also have an advantage. I'm 18 years into my profession. Does not mean you have to wait 18 years. Don't misread. But what it does mean is I've proven myself. I could probably be just a little edgy and they'd be like, okay, guess maybe Carrie's going through a phase. But I've proven myself in my career. They know what I'm capable of. They know what I've done. And once you've established that, it gives you a little bit of room to be a little bit edgy. But when you're wearing the plastic glasses, the over-dried hair, the patch of blonde that I can't tell what it's doing there. Okay. The ends are untrimmed. There's no particular style. And you got the nose ring thing going on. Just something to think about. Okay. Individuality is important, but it is something to think about when you're trying to establish yourself.
But it's like, yeah, you got to have experience with this software, and then we need you to have experience doing this, and that. Well, how could I have that experience when I've been in college?
And that, young lady, if anyone had the answer to, they would be billionaires. You're going to have to find your way. That's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to find your way. And this is why it's also very important that people pick their careers before that they pick their college majors very carefully. Are you going after a hobby or are you actually going after a career? The more career oriented you are, the easier it is to step into it. When you're just going after hobbies, I think it's harder. Whereas when it's more career aligned, I think there are clear stepping stones. She basically went from college to an adult novelty store. And then by her own words at the beginning, all right, she said that she basically wanted to just try all these different jobs. Well, I hope you're not telling your employers that, because it makes you sound like a job hopper. Okay, that you really have no focus, which explains why you majored in drama and whatever else it was.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like with my post-grad depression, it's not coming from me being out of college. It's coming from feeling like I didn't do enough. Like, even though I did 4 years of college, even though I have a degree, a bachelor's degree at that, even with all of that, the world is still saying you're not doing enough.
Exactly. And I think one of the hard things she's going to have to understand is that a bachelor's degree today does not hold the weight that it used to. A bachelor's degree used to be very coveted. And if we're not careful and we start giving bachelor's degrees to everybody, we're going to wind up having the bachelor's degree be no more valuable than the high school diploma. Not that the high school diploma does not have... Every degree has its value because every degree is needed to get to the next degree. But not every degree is needed to find a career. Okay? It's true. Every degree is needed to get to the next level of degree, but not every degree is needed to find a career. And, what is it here sometimes? Do we give people too many kudos and accolades? I don't know. But somewhere along the line, she may have been led to believe that, you have your bachelor's degree, all the world is now your stage, and all your prayers are answered. No, it's just you have a bachelor's degree. Now what are you going to do? I almost sense that somebody set her up to not really be able to face reality. Like they gave her too much of a dreamland. And maybe that was sold to her by the college financial aid office. Okay, because they'll sell dreams if they think they can sell it.
America is still saying you're not doing enough. So that's very frustrating for me because
that music is all hers. As I've said, I've not interjected anything.
Felt like all throughout life. Yo, hold on, we gotta cut the cameras because tears can't be coming. But I felt
it's okay if you cry. Most of us at some point have either cried or have felt like crying.
Felt like all throughout life, I have been hit with okay, you accomplished this, congratulations. You're still not doing everything that we wanted. You missed some things.
That is the world. That is life, Vera. That is life. And when you think you've got it and then you finally get the house, then it's, well, yeah, but now you need to have the car to go to the house. Okay. Well, now do you have the spouse to go with the car in the house? Okay. You got the kids, but do you have the kids that are at the top of the class? Okay. You have the kids at the top of the class, but are they at the right school to be at the top of the class? You see, it never ends. So at some point you have to decide at what level you're happy at. I had somebody tell me once that paying off a condo didn't count because it wasn't a house. Yeah. Oh, but you paid off a condo, so what? It's just a condo. It's 840 square feet. It's not a house. Just saying. So at some point I go, this wasn't enough. No, that wasn't enough. And it's why you need to decide for yourself what's enough and then surround yourself by people that are in agreement with what's enough. There are some people, that they could be multimillionaires and that's not enough money. They need more and more and more. There are other people that are totally fine. That you could put them in a tiny house the size of a parking lot and they'll say that's enough. So what she's realizing is she's going to have to determine what's enough for her, because that's the only person that can ultimately determine it.
I felt like through every accomplishment, it was always still something that I was lacking. And that's hard.
Yes, but it's a normal feeling.
That's pretty tough. Anyway, again, composure. So dealing with that emotionally and mentally, and I think I'm doing pretty good because today I felt all these emotions and I had all these thoughts and I was like, okay, I need to record a video.
All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and call this done. This is way longer than I thought it was going to be. You know me, folks. You know me. All right, I will have the link to this. If anybody wants to watch the rest of it. Like I said, I haven't seen the rest of this. I only saw I think it was the first 3-4 minutes, and I cut most of that out. So this was fun watching this with you. Okay, again, her name is Vera Heggs. She does have a YouTube channel. Okay, it's just right down here. All right. I'll have a link in the description box. So Vera, thank you for sharing. If you do see this, thank you for sharing your experience. It's not easy growing up, is it? But you'll do it, and you'll do it just fine. Just step carefully. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. Thank you so much for joining me on this awesome Wednesday evening. All right, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. See you here at the computer deck Thursday, at least. That's the plan. Good night, everyone.